Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome back to Wall Street Bullion. Joining us today is Lobo Tiggre, CEO of IndependentSpeculator.com. Lobo, welcome back.
Glad to be on the show.
Yeah, glad to have you down. Silver prices are going higher by the day. It seems to be there's a breakout in silver and people are getting really excited about it. What are your thoughts, Lobo? Where are we going from here?
Boy, well, let's see. I've got my magic 8 ball right here. Signs are.
Better be something good.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, come on. That's a forward-looking question there, but let's not dodge it. So, first off, it's not just looks like it's breaking out. It has broken out. I mean, this is 13-year high. And the context for that is, these are prices we haven't seen since, the collapse after the $50 run last time. So this is a big deal. On a nominal rate, there are a couple potential. If I'm not a technical analyst, but from a broad strokes kind of perspective, there are a couple of places in the mid 40s that could be seen as a resistance, but not really.
Right.
Uh, I really don't see a lot of resistance until 50, and that's just nominal. You adjust that for inflation, of course, and it's much higher. So it is exciting, and it has broken out from where it's been. It's been stuck in a range for a while, so this move is already significant. Whatever happens next, and bear in mind that most of the silver mines operating in the world, they were built assuming $15 silver, that sort of thing, and okay, costs have gone up. But all but the crappiest miners have been doing better in the current silver environment. So that's one thing to say is like, we already have a significant breakout. We have already been in a price regime that has been good for all but the crappiest miners. And so, it looks very good. To answer your specific question, where it goes next, I really think we need to give it a bit of time. If it stays on the trajectory it's going, it doesn't have to go, right up way to 40 or whatever. But if it stays in 36, 37, if it continues to head higher, consolidates here even before its next move, I think that's very, very bullish. If it breaks down, like if we hit this and then just like, the other times, like the last time it kissed 35, whoa, went back down almost to 30, right?
Right.
So that's been the sawtooth pattern of this market. And this is actually, I think, important as not a TA, but just as a market observer. It's been a very sawtooth pattern. The last few times it's hit a new or a recent high, it has backed off right away. So if it doesn't do that this time, it says something is different this time, and in a good way, right? Not in a fantasy way. So
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen this week, and I wouldn't believe anybody who told me they did. But I do think it's very important. So if it doesn't back off from here, if it sticks here and even struggles higher, I think that's very, very bullish. It suggests to me that there's a new buyer here, or to give credit where due, my fellow Puerto Rican Peter Schiff, he thinks that there's pair trades unwinding, people that are long gold, short silver, or maybe even long Bitcoin, short silver, that sort of thing, that are being unwound, and maybe some shorts are being covered, that sort of thing. I don't know that we'd even know that in hindsight. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying I don't know. I don't have a grand theory. I'm just a market watcher saying the last few times we've had a breakout like this, SmackDown, Mr. Slammy's been next. So nobody wants to hear Mr. Slammy's coming next. Call me Darth Silver if you want to. I'm not predicting Mr. Slammy. I'm just saying, he's made his appearance each time after this. If he doesn't, then I think that's going to be great news.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with us in the silver community we don't want to get too excited. We get excited, but if you get too excited, then you start seeing some price slams. Then it's kind of like, the mood kind of shifts again really, really quick. And silver is more volatile than gold. So of course we can see that shift and we can see that price slam. What are and I wanted to ask you this, Lobo, just as like to get, your take on it. What are the most common mistakes you see investors in the precious metals market make when they buy physical silver or gold, or even the mining sector? What are the most common mistakes you see?
Well, it really boils down to, I mean, there's a lot, but the one that can really summarize it all, I guess, is believing your own bullshit. It's fine. Sorry, Just being, I'm answering the question, all right?
No, that's true.
I mean, it's fine to have a bull thesis, and it's great to think, silver's been, just to continue on the silver theme, that, it's been suppressed, it's been manipulated, there's all these problems. And now if the shorts are disappeared, or if these guys are being forced to eat their shorts, that's great. This is it. It's going to the moon. It's fine to wish for that. It's fine to, have bets on that, but to go all in, to really believe that story, like, it's one thing to have a thesis. It's one thing to have an explanation that makes sense to you. It's another thing to, like, get a third mortgage on the house without telling your wife. This is the sort of thing that doesn't end well usually.
Right.
Right. So that, and believing your own BS is what makes people do things like that. Like, they're just so convinced, oh, this is it. It's
Yeah.
13. This is it. When gold hit a 13-year high, it just didn't stop going. Well, that was gold, right? Silver isn't part of Basel III. So, central banks aren't buying silver now the way they are gold. I'm not anti-silver, dear audience. I'm just saying the market is notably different. And you ignore that at your own peril.
Yeah, absolutely. What on a separate note, what do you think about the big beautiful bill being pushed through Senate right now? Like that will add 2.5 trillion in debt, and they're trying to get rid of the debt ceiling. What are your thoughts on that, Lobo?
Well, it's obviously bullish for monetary metals. I mean, this isn't anything original to me, but it's worth stressing that, Congress has been doing this for decades. I think my entire life. They always spend more now and balance the budget by promising cuts later. And the
Right.
cuts later never happened. Never happened. So, yeah. So I think it's inflationary. I think this is good for gold and silver. And despite my nicknames, silver is still a monetary metal. And, even if we look at silver's industrial side primarily, inflation is good for anything that's necessary and in short supply, and that includes copper. So I've been saying this on a lot of interviews. It's not new, but it is the answer to your question here. Like, what's going on now in Washington? It's either inflationary right away or even more inflationary later. I don't see a, I don't see a scenario where, I mean, even Elon Musk goes to Washington to cut trillions of dollars and leaves town after 150 billion. Not that that's not worth doing, but it's inflation or it's inflation. And that's good for commodities like copper and so on. It's good for monetary metals like gold. And if silver is acting like both, and I'm bullish on both of these metals, I got to be bullish on silver.
Welcome to the Cayman Islands, a premier offshore jurisdiction where natural beauty meets financial stability. Here, your wealth is more than secure. It thrives in one of the most trusted and respected financial centers in the world. For over a decade, SWP has been the trusted choice for precious metal investors worldwide. Our purpose-built 6,000 square foot facility sets a new standard in precious metal storage. We are proud to be one of the only vault operators approved by the London Bullion Market Association. Beyond safeguarding your assets, we're committed to making a difference in our community by supporting local causes and events that reflect our values. As we continue to expand and innovate our services, we ensure that your wealth is safe and strategically positioned to shield you from the uncertainties that lie ahead. Strategic wealth preservation, trusted today and ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, and I feel like for the longest time, just 2, 3 months going back, not too long ago, everyone was convinced that, oh, we're going to have an audit on the, Fort Knox and where's the gold? And then all of a sudden that completely died down and it's not being talked about anymore. I don't think it's
Well,
going to
actually, sorry, I got
happen.
to jump in.
Yeah,
It's funny you should mention that, because just today the headline came across my virtual desk that Tom Massey, the one guy who stands up to Trump, has introduced a bill to audit Fort Knox.
really.
And so, fortunately, it's not just him, because if it was just him, we all know that Trump, he doesn't like being disagreed with, right? If I can put that politely. Um, so, it would worry me if it was just Massey putting this bill in, but he's got a bunch of Republican co-sponsors too. So I'm hoping And Trump himself has said, we ought to audit Fort Knox. He was, so hopefully he still thinks this is a good idea and he wants to go there. That would be great. And you know what? Even if all the gold is there and all, it still needs to be done.
Yeah.
And the last time they did it, they said, oh, well, we audited like one of the vaults and the other vaults still were sealed. So we can assume that all that gold is there. Like, come on, it's a
That's
piece of
crazy.
paper on the door. You think that's going to stop somebody from stealing, billions of dollars worth of gold? It's not like I think somebody snuck in the night and broke this away. But give me a break. A piece of paper on the door tells me that the gold's really there. That's not a freaking audit. Come on.
It's
So yeah,
just
I
an
think this needs to
IOU.
happen one way or the other.
It's just an IOU on the door. Here's how much gold
Hey,
is on
that's
this.
better than money. It's an IOU.
Oh, it's absolutely crazy, Lobo. What before you go, I wanted to ask you, what's concerning you right now, whether it's geopolitically, financially, the markets, or even that you're seeing in the news. What's concerning you right now, that you have your eye on?
Well, as a human being, the shooting wars we still have, and we've been promised peace multiple times, and it's just not happening. And
Yeah.
it's and as bad as the wars in Gaza and Ukraine are, the situation with Iran, and if Trump keeps saying they can't have a nuclear weapon, and Tehran keeps saying we're going to enrich, you don't have a right to tell us what to do. I mean, that could get really bad, and it has investment implications too. But as a human being, I'm more worried about the human cost. As an investor, if Trump shock really does cause a recession and there's a deflationary bout, uh, you know, the money helicopters are still in the sky. I really don't think the deflationary outlook is highly credible. But
Right.
in is a short, sharp shock when people have an oh beep moment, you could see something like that, and that would hurt copper or create a buying opportunity, depending on you like, and it might hurt silver too because of its industrial side. I think actually the same thing though would boost gold as a monetary metal, and it should boost silver as well. And then which way silver does there, I don't know. Um, at the end of the day, I think history tells us that when this bull market is looked at clearly in the rearview mirror, silver will probably have outperformed gold on a percentage gain basis, and it's extremely bullish. But I have to say, I feel safer in gold. Like there's just complexities with silver, and I don't just mean the volatility. I do mean its industrial side that I just don't have to worry about with gold. So I really think that even the most diehard silver bulls in the world, they ought to make sure they have a gold lining to their portfolio as well.
Hello, my fellow silver and gold stacker. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching the channel. Subscribe, please like the video, and also hit the notification bell. Keep stacking. Oh yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Like I'm hardcore silver. I love silver. That's literally what got me into the precious metals. But at the same time, a big part of my investments are in gold. Because I'm on the same side as you. I have lots of silver, but I feel like gold just has just looking at it historically on the charts, like I'm going all time, like, or let's just say going back 50, 60, 70 years, I'm like, okay, this will go up. But of course, you have more volatility in silver. But Lobo, I want to thank you so much for coming down to speaking to the silver and gold community. Before you go, though, I am going to put the link in the description below for Independent Speculator. Where else can people find you?
Well, I'm at Due Diligence Guy on X, and I do see that Twitter feed as being a publication of mine. So I have a free weekly digest, which I do recommend, and I don't spam you with advertisements and stuff. You get one email a week. But if that's not enough Lobo for you, you can go to my X feed, and I post pretty much every day, and I try to make it, sometimes funny, but important. Stuff that people in our space need to know, be aware of, and may affect their investment decisions. So that's the way to keep up with me on a daily basis. I also am on LinkedIn and Facebook, but Twitter X is the primary daily communication feed from me.
Yeah, everyone watching this, I'll put the links in the description below. Lobo, such a huge pleasure having you on. As the silver and gold market develops and the whole landscape moves forward, I'd really love to have you back on in the future.
It'll be exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
Talk to you soon.